I always like to introduce myself. I'm Marissa Elliott because I think that I'm like a great example of somebody who can be a representative of Next Group and sort of what we do and our mission. Because I myself, so I'm one of those people, I have two master's degrees. I have a master's degree in human resources and one in teaching. I worked in human resources very early in my career for about 5 years. I worked at ABN AMRO, and I actually worked for a small company that then got bought by ABN AMRO. And I wasn't super happy with what was going on with the direction of being in a very large organization. So I left to go back to school to become a teacher. And then along the way, right before I was about to be certified, I started a family. So I basically stayed at home for a long period of time. But in that time, I was doing lots of different things. I worked at the preschool. I actually was a preschool teacher. I was on various boards. I was super involved with my kids' school. And then more recently, I started working in interior design, and I worked with an interior designer, and I did sort of got into that whole realm. And then I started working for Next Group about 3.5 years ago now. And it just sort of came about organically. But I did not think I would sort of get back to doing HR type stuff because that was early in my career. But it's been a really good fit, and it's been a way for me as somebody who was out of the workforce for a long time, like the true workforce, to sort of get back into this field. So that's just a little bit about my background. We actually have four co-founders, but our two co-founders that are still involved in Next Group on a day-to-day basis are Candace Chow, our managing director, and Melanie Wright. So Candace does like all the business development and sort of the operations, and then Melanie focuses on like programming and career boost and career counseling. I'll introduce some of our search associates. So if you are, interviewing for any of the jobs that we have, you might meet Kim Glover. She actually just got married. I should change her name. She's Kim Porter now. And Patty Barbado is another one of our search associates. And then Shayna Sternstein kind of does search and like back office operations. And then our marketing associate is Kirsten Ellis, and we have an admin assistant, Evelyn Nowicki. And I always say we're a really small but mighty team. A lot of us don't even work full time. Like I work part time, but we kind of are able to get everything done just with our small team. This is just a great slide that shows a sampling of some of the organizations that we've worked with over the past 6 years now. We have a real specialty with nonprofit and like small mission-based organizations, but we also have worked with larger companies, entrepreneurial companies. Most everybody is in the Chicagoland area, but we do have some connections. Like we're doing a lot of recruiting for an organization out in Los Angeles right now. So it kind of runs the gamut of what we have. But I'd say our niche is sort of a nonprofit, like and small to medium organizations. So yeah, we've got some big hitters around the North Shore, obviously Kellogg, some Catholic Charities, which is a huge nonprofit in Chicago. So Evanston Community Foundation. So just a little sampling of some of our clients. So this is kind of how Next Group started. And I love to tell this story because it really explains Next Group really has two parts of our organization. We have the recruiting part. So, and then we have the more like talent, network talent development part. And they're both really important to us. But the reason why Next Group actually started was more on the talent development side. So all of our co-founders, who I mentioned, Melanie and Candace had known each other. They both went to Kellogg. They both were management consultants. Melanie worked at Kellogg for a long time. Tracy Kwiatkowski has a PhD. Like Joan Sherman had worked in nonprofit for many, many years. And they realized that even though they had these amazing backgrounds, they were really struggling with either advancing in their career, or a couple of them took a step back to maybe stay home with their kids, and then when they were trying to get back into the workforce, they were just having real struggles. So they kind of looked around and they realized that if they are having these struggles, then this must be a common problem, for everyone who's in this situation. So they kind of banded together and wanted to share resources and talk about this and like ways to get over these struggles. So they started just gathering names of people who'd be interested in being part of this group. And it started with friends of friends, and like 500 people on a list. And they actually had an event, the first event, they had to change the venue because so many people wanted to attend and talk about this issue. So then if you kind of fast forward to where we are now, 6 years later, we started with 500 people in our network, and now we have over 7,000 people in our network. So it really has grown. But quickly, when Tracy and Joan and Candace and Melanie first started, they realized that it would be great to have resources like career resources for people, and even networking groups or whatever would sort of give people a leg up. But we're not a nonprofit, so you kind of need a way to pay for all of those services. So that's where the recruiting piece came in. So Candace and Melanie started tapping into some of the organizations that they had really good relationships with, and it kind of became this full circle. We have a network of people who are interested in jobs and are really talented, and you have a need in your organization. So that's how we kind of have brought the two networks, or the two pieces of the business, together. Our goal is to obviously have people from our network that we can fill these jobs with. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but the bigger our network gets and the better our network gets, then the more it's going to happen where we'll be able to fill those roles that we're recruiting for. So that's kind of how it all started. And like I mentioned, over the past 6 years, we've been super busy. We have more than 7,000 people in our network, men, women, and professionals of color. We've worked with over 80 nonprofits and entrepreneurial companies in the past 6 years. We've placed over 125 professionals in roles ranging all the way up to executive, down to very low level associate, and admin and things like that. And then we have other ways that we reach diverse talent. We have partnerships with some other organizations that do similar things, like Career Transition Center that's based in Chicago. That's where we are today, and we continue to grow, and we continue to gain clients and people who are in our network, and we have people joining every day. We have tons of programming and things for our talent to really reach their full potential. And that's sort of our goal, is to make sure that our candidates are the best candidates for these roles that we're supporting. And we are also a really good advocate for our clients. We kind of will tailor things that they need. We're super flexible. And we're always looking for ideas. I know offline, Margot and I were just talking about some cool ideas that I think would be a great addition to some of the things we offer at NextGroup. And we're constantly evolving. We're constantly offering new things that we think will be beneficial to everyone in our network. In order to join NextGroup, it's not like you have to pay. It's totally free and it's easy. Basically, all it involves is just putting your information so that we can have it in our database. And once your information is in our database, we can send you job opportunities. You'll get our newsletters. We have 2 newsletters that go out. One is specifically more about jobs, and the other one is more about our programming. And when you fill out your profile, if you really put a good, like your functional expertise, you will get job alerts, like specific emails that might say, oh, I see you're in marketing and we have a role that's a marketing role that you might be interested. You have access to all of our workshops and events. Almost all of our workshops are totally free. Our events are usually free. This is just like a little bit of a sampling of some of the things that we offer. I mentioned earlier office hours. I think office hours and our programming is something that really sets us apart from other recruiting organizations or even organizations that do sort of support, career support, because our office hours, so we do them twice a month where you can just literally drop in that it's on Tuesdays from 9:30 to 11, and you can literally ask any career question. And then I also do on-demand office hours. So if that schedule doesn't work for you and you want to just have a quick 10-15 minute session with me, I'm happy to do that as well. And it could be, take a look at my resume. I changed the structure and I'm not sure if I like the way it looks, or, it's not going to be super in-depth things. Like I'm not going to run through your bullet points of your resume or anything like that, but it's sort of like high level questions. A lot of times what I get on office hours is sometimes people are just really frustrated. Oh, I just found out I didn't get an interview for this role, or I've been networking a ton but I'm not getting any response, things like that, where sometimes it's just an ear that you want to kind of air your grievances and get a different opinion. So I think office hours are such a great resource for people. We try to do a networking event twice a year. You can always view all of our events that are upcoming on our events page. So just keep an eye out for that. Our workshops, as I mentioned, we usually have a workshop at least once a month. They are generally on Zoom and they are great topics. We have partner coaches that offer these workshops for free, which is amazing. They do this for our network. We often will do like a fireside chat or a lunch and learn. We've done these where we might introduce like, what is group coaching? Like, I'm interested in it, but I don't actually know what it is. Or let's hear from a hiring manager and sort of in this environment, what are they looking for? Or let's talk to somebody who just got a role and did recruiting through us, and they can talk about their experience. So lots of different things. As I mentioned, we have great partnerships with some outside coaches who have their own businesses. So they will often advertise, like maybe they're doing a cohort or maybe they're doing a special workshop and they'll give us discounts and things like that. Often when we do our workshops, that coach will offer like a free session, which I think is amazing, like where you can talk to them and do like a free introductory session. So our coaches are super generous with giving their time. And then one of the very few paid services that we have through NextGroup is our Career Boost. And Melanie does Career Boost. It's a really targeted, it's like 3 individual sessions with Melanie where she will go through whatever the career issue is that you are struggling with. Like maybe you have an interview coming up and you really need like some good interview prep. Maybe you're just not sure what your next step is going to be. Like she will walk you through all of that, and she's really amazing at it. So I highly recommend that. So just a couple of reasons why I think our clients are, or our candidates are so attractive to our clients, is because we have this network of people who are, they're super interested. A lot of them are wanting to find roles. They're very committed. I have people that routinely come on office hours. They're routinely like trying to get their resume looking great. They have, specific questions, and, they're just really committed to that search, or whatever it is that they might be looking for at that time. So and obviously our candidates, if we are presenting candidates for a particular role that we're recruiting for, we're going to make sure that they have interview prep and their resume is looking great, and all the things, so they're going to stand out. We also offer a lot of support to people once they've been placed in their roles. We reach out to them. We make sure things are going well. We make sure, do you need any training? Like how was your onboarding? Like all that sort of thing. And we do it on the employer side too, to make sure that things are working out. And then we offer all kinds of recruitment options for our clients. So you could just place an ad in our newsletter, or you can have full cycle recruitment and kind of like everything in between. So we're really flexible in that way. So one thing I wanted to mention real quickly is our Next Group reserves. When Candace first started Next Group, she sort of always had this idea that she might need be able to fill a niche of where organizations needed temporary or like project-based people. And so we launched the Next Group Reserves last year. And the reserves is really anyone who is looking to maybe work on a project-based basis. And so we only advertise the reserves now about twice a year because we have a pretty good network of people. We have like maybe 75 people who are in this group, and they all have different functional experience. They can be all different levels, but the goal is that if we have a project that comes in that is, maybe it's a maternity leave, or maybe it's a nonprofit and they're kind of in flux and they're not sure what the next step is going to be, but they need like a financial person to help them out in the meantime, like all those sorts of things. Any reason why people would be working, or maybe there's like a big fundraiser where they don't want to take on a whole nother employee, but they need some extra help. We're always needing more finance people because that seems to be be a need that comes up. So if you do know anyone in the finance area, especially like accounting, bookkeeping, anything like that's always like a really popular need. But yeah, it's a really interesting group, and it's been really fun to like help the clients get through these gaps and also be able to get these project-based jobs for people who are looking for it. We have a great resources page on our website. We have all kinds of things that talk about resume and summary statements, and we have a lot of our old workshops. Most of our workshops have been videotaped, so you can find them on our resources page. We also have a YouTube channel that you can find our workshops as well. Obviously, join our network if you haven't already, and you can follow us. We're on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook.